Welcome to the universe of philosophy. In this content, we will discuss today's rising philosophical movement, Absurdism. You can find Absurdism and all other philosophical movements on our channel. Absurdism is a philosophical movement that emphasizes confronting the irrationality and chaos in life's search for meaning. Examining people's reactions to the meaninglessness of life, this approach embraces the complexity and uncertainty of existence. The roots of absurdism were shaped by the influence of movements such as existentialism and nihilism in the mid-20th century. The post-World War I period paved the way for the spread of this philosophy as people increased their questioning in the face of the meaninglessness of war. Albert Camus is one of the most important figures of absurdism. Camus accepted the inevitable meaninglessness of life and argued that rebelling and resisting this situation would give meaning to human life. He had a great impact with this approach. The basic tenets of absurdism suggest that life is inherently meaningless and that humans must accept this meaninglessness. It encourages a focus on the transient experiences of life rather than the search for meaning. This emphasizes the freedom of the individual. Absurdism sees human life as a constant search for meaning and the failure of this search. The effort to find meaning and the failure of this effort constitute the tragic but inevitable conflict at the core of life. Absurdism sees the search for meaning as a natural human tendency, but argues that the universe offers no such meaning. This conflict reveals the futility of human efforts to impose meaning on their lives. Although it shares similarities with existentialism, absurdism suggests accepting the absurdity in the world and living in it. Absurdism believes that even if a person feels helpless in the face of this meaninglessness, they should rebel and create their own meaning. Camus' novel, The Stranger, is a powerful example of absurdism in literature. The character Meursault, with his behaviors that go against social norms and his emotionless attitudes, strikingly reflects the meaninglessness of life and the loneliness of the individual. Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot shows how absurdism is represented in theater. The character's constant waiting emphasizes the uncertainty and purposelessness of life, leading the audience to existential questions. Absurdism delves into the concept of the meaninglessness of life. According to this view, man's search for meaning must continue despite the indifference of the universe. This conflict pushes man to question life and create his own values. One of the most important representations of absurdism in theater, Waiting for Godot, was written by Samuel Beckett. This work brings the meaninglessness of waiting and the existential loneliness of man to the stage in a striking way. The endless waiting of the two characters reveals the uncertainty of life and the futility of the search for meaning. Absurdism delves into the concept of the meaninglessness of life. This philosophy argues that the universe is indifferent to human expectations. The search for meaning, according to absurdism, is a struggle in which man is in inevitable conflict. This struggle highlights the freedom of the individual and the power to shape his own life. The ethics and morality of absurdism challenges traditional rules and encourages individuals to create their own values. It emphasizes human free will and responsibility. Even in the absence of meaning, an individual can develop their own ethical system. In daily life, absurdism allows individuals to develop a different perspective on ordinary situations. This philosophy encourages people to question their own existential realities by looking at the routines of life from a humorous perspective. The effect of absurdism can make the ordinary be perceived differently. Absurdism has occasionally been criticized and has sparked various debates. Some critics argue that this philosophy promotes pessimism and nihilism. However, its advocates counter this criticism by emphasizing the freedom of the individual and their capacity to create meaning. Absurdism in cinema offers viewers deep thoughts on the repetitive cycles and meaninglessness of life through movies like Groundhog Day. Such movies make viewers experience existential questions through the inner journeys of the characters. Humor and irony are the cornerstones of absurdism. These two elements hold up a mirror to the seemingly complex and meaningless life of man, encourage thought and questioning, and add philosophical depth. The religious and spiritual aspects of absurdism play an important role in an individual's search for meaning in their own existence. In the absence of meaning, individuals turn to their inner worlds and discover different spiritual and psychic experiences. Collective consciousness is a concept in absurdism that questions the relationship between the individual and society. The norms and values imposed by society can be seen as an obstacle in the individual's effort to find his own meaning and are examined in depth. Absurdism offers the answer to existential crises by accepting the meaninglessness of life and offering freedom. This acceptance offers the individual the opportunity to create their own meaning and see their life from a freer perspective. Absurdism questions the individual's search for meaning within society through its relationship with collective consciousness. While drawing attention to the meaninglessness of the norms and values imposed by society, it highlights the individual's effort to make sense of his or her own existence. Individuals facing existential crises can overcome these crises with the perspective offered by absurdism. Absurdism encourages the courage to enjoy life and create one's own meaning despite its meaninglessness, thus increasing individual freedom. Science and technology are considered as forces that humans cannot control in absurdism. While humanity deepens its search for meaning with these forces, absurdism argues that technological developments mask the meaninglessness of life and directs the individual to self-evaluation. Absurdism in education encourages questioning thinking and teaches students that life cannot be reduced to absolute truths. This approach allows students to question their personal and societal values while developing their critical thinking skills. In political thought, absurdism emphasizes the flaws of systems and the struggle of man against uncontrollable forces. The effort of individuals to create their own meaning within political structures allows absurdism to take on an inspiring role in the political arena. Absurdism can create a deep inner questioning in the individual from a psychological perspective. Thoughts about the meaninglessness of life can lead the person to question the purpose of existence and sometimes to feel anxiety or restlessness. This philosophy encourages individuals to live in the moment, emphasizing that happiness is momentary and temporary. Happiness can be found in simple moments and in accepting the spontaneity of life rather than in the search for meaning. The future place of absurdism will depend on how individuals respond to their search for meaning in an ever-changing world. Technological and social changes may further increase the importance of this philosophy. Personal reflections on this philosophy can profoundly affect an individual's outlook on life. Absurdism encourages a freer and more creative lifestyle, taking life less seriously. Incorporating absurdism into your life involves evaluating the events of your daily life from a lighter perspective. This approach can make it easier to cope with stress and make you more aware of the little pleasures life has to offer. You can examine other philosophical movements in the playlist named Philosophical Movements on our channel. There are quite a few special people interested in philosophy today. If you are one of them and this content is good for you, don't forget to subscribe to Philosophy Universe for more.